Wakeland's the one that's going to come off, Bruce.
Thanks, Prez. Gee, there's a big feeling here today. It does feel like a final, doesn't it? Start of the game, Blues go to the right, Porter to the left. Porter got over Primus for the opening bounce. And Mead there in the middle of the group and a ball up. She tactically, I reckon, now Christou's made a move. They've changed Manton and Christou. Christou's now come out to Chad Corns. So some changes here. France is still getting ready to come on.
Camporelli and Bradley both inside 50 for Carlton off the ball. Suggests that Carlton are tagging in the midfield.
Darryl Wakeland without an opponent at the moment. Gee, hard there on Polton, but he stood up pretty well. Carr fumbled. Ratton good hands. Out wide to Camporelli. Camporelli at 60 metres. Hook kick to about 20 metres. Montgomery, Bradley to pressure him, and he does. Montgomery still in play. Hickmott kept it in very well. Bangs back, and it's out of bounds. So Port Adelaide to relieve from the back pocket. GB, there's a fair bit of tension here at the start of this game.
Well, Carlton 7-4 this year. They're fourth on the ladder. Port Adelaide 8-3, second. And as you said before the game, this is one of the best match-up games we've seen this year.
Umpire getting into trouble there, that opening bounce, but recovering.
Polton, bring the ball into play, goes short, finds Kingsley. What a season he's had in the back pocket. The midfield has been so strong this year for Port Adelaide that he's been pushed back.
France has just come on,
and
gentlemen.
France has just come off the interchange bench and it's just sprinted to the half-back line. He's got the possession. McKay trying to track him. Drills the ball down, looked for Stevens, he got the call, and it was from Carr, who's had a terrific season. The handball was a bad one, but Carr recovers well, and the run comes from Francis as the roar goes round Footy Park. Cockatoo Collins goes to ground. That's a lucky free kick. He was on his way down. He's been a big improver this year. He's been a disappointing player. He's really lifted his ranking. Big pack of players, big fist away. Franco, quick snap. Bounces over the line for a toss back in.
Gentlemen, the interchange for Carlton: Nelson, Fletcher, Wiggins and Houghton.
So three that have come into the team start interchange, and Houghton, the other one, their swing man. Franco quick to get his boot to the ball there. There's a lot of pressure out there. Ackland and Porter. So Primus free for Ackland to do the ruck work. Ratton, second handball or second possession to Christou. Christou wide. He measured the kick. It was a good one too. He had to, and he found his great mate in Koutoufides, who started in the goal square and finds himself now getting his first kick in the back pocket. One on Wayne Wanganeen and Beaumont. Beaumont, their gun defender, against the champion playing his 200th game. And there's the Port interchange. You can see James. Wakeland has come off. Bruce picked it well. Schofield and Steinbrenner, who's a run-with player, starting interchange as well.
They're talking about Beaumont leading in the best and fairest for the Blues this year, so that match-up with Wanganeen should be an absolute beauty. Mansfield, the tackler. Strong tackle on Steinbrenner. Not Steinbrenner, I make apologies there. That was on Shuey Jew.
It's interesting to see Koutoufides starting in the goal square and then pushing right to the outer back pocket. It suggests he's going to play a real floating role all day.
A lot of players watching each other, very, very aware of the tactics. Josh Franco had it and lost it. Hands and knees, Franchina. Francis wants a free kick. They'll get a ball up.
And Carlton tactically have set the tone for the game. There's no question about that. Wayne Britton and his match committee have done some work during the week. They're obviously going to man up, play a real accountable game, and use Koutoufides and Whitnell, Bradley and Camporelli up forward to be their match winners to kick a winning score.
So it's a ball up a good 75 metres from Port Adelaide's goal. Stevens had it and lost it. Kingsley with sure hands pumps the ball deep into the forward line. Treadray looks dangerous. Silvani. Wanganeen, quick snap. Game number 200 across the face of goals. Cockatoo Collins can't take it. Through for a behind.
High pressure, Bruce.
There it is, Tony.
Enormous pressure.
You can see the disappointment on Gavin Wanganeen's face. He knew it was a half a chance, but it was a chance, and he's been taking them most of the year. So Plunkett gets it in from the kick out as we're watching Wanganeen, and Plunkett kicks to Lappin. Kane Corns has got the job on him. Camporelli finds some space. Wants Porter's a terrible kick. Polton takes him on physically. Did all right, but then coughed it up. Camporelli to Bradley. He's away. He's away. He's inside 50. He chips it beautifully to Whitnell. It's a goal. The Blues are on the board. Hickmott, I should say. Goal. Well, there's a bit of experience in Bradley, isn't there?
There's experience, Bruce, and there's excitement across the half-forward line because the Blues are tagging those match-winning players, Franco, Stevens, Carr in the midfield. That's allowed what it looks like Bradley and Camperelli to play running roles from the half-forward line. They'll be given the opportunity to push down the ground, but also be inside 50 to sharp scoring shots.
Blues by 6 points. A lot of cat and mouse tactics.
Whitnell up on the wing for the centre bounce again, KB.
Koutafidis has gone back to full forward, so he's floating from full forward up the ground, maybe to break any sort of tag. Chance now, taken away that time, but lost by Port Adelaide. Camperelli just can't quite make up his mind. He's looking for Lappin. The kick comes to Plunkett, smothered off the boot. Getting back, Burgoyne happy to take the ball through from behind.
Kevin Camperelli's had 4 possessions early. He's dangerous across that half-forward line.
Burgoyne in the side today, very important player and a goal kicker. Kicked that match-winning goal the last time they met. Koutafidis, uncontested. Josh Franco was looking. Somehow he thought one of his teammates was going to contest with Koutafidis, who bangs the ball back. In front, couldn't take it. That was Whitnell. Jew goes to ground. Plunkett pounced on it. Tries to feed the ball out to Hume. He's been driven in the ground by Jew. And it's a ball up just 15 metres out from goal.
I know we're only in June, but doesn't it have a finals type atmosphere with the pressure and the body contact on the ground?
You add the blue skies and the heat of the day. It's pretty warm here today, and it all adds up with a great crowd in. Must be close to 40,000. Carlton starting well, I think. Just look a little more settled. Camperelli's been so important. Kane Corns had it ripped away. He tried to handle. Freeborn, Hickmott, who's the lone goal scorer, getting it from Bradley, a gift in the end. And Mead deliberately shoves it to the line and wasn't pinged. He is very lucky. He didn't need to be quite so obvious, and Ratton was onto it. So we're going for 17. It feels warmer than 15 in the box right now, I can assure you of that. And I bet you out there it feels like about 20. Porter, Primus, quick kick Burgoyne, and Francis gets it at half-back. On to Burgoyne. In trouble, gee, the Blues have matched them up. There's a high tackle. But there will be physical pressure here every time either team gets hold of the footy. Just too high, Franchina, in the tackle. Burgoyne forced out wide to centre wing, and a great mark by Jack Corns. He's kicked 6-15 this year. He's played okay, but he needs a big match. He might get it today. Kingsley's away to full forward, a couple of options. Ackland the front spot. Franco, can he get a handball? He can't. His hands just weren't quite clean enough, but he gets a free kick for a high tackle. He just needed a clean take, Franco, to get a handball to Wanganeen, but the pressure was so much that he couldn't get it. He's looked at 6s and 7s, Franco, today. He didn't go for the kick in from Jew, admonished Jew, missed a shot from 30, didn't take it cleanly there. You know, all that'll be forgotten and forgiven if he kicks a goal right now.
Well, that's a direct result of the pressure, Bruce.
30 metres out. He's done it. Porter on the board. He'll settle down now.
Well, Franco and Stevens, the prime movers in the midfield, both haven't started with the normal zest that they normally would. They're both normally terrific players early in the game, but that's a steadying goal for Franco. Nothing better than, Kevin, to have a goal kicked on you as a midfielder that's being tagged early in the game.
He's a good player. And we can see the goal square for Port Adelaide. They're just milling around. Plenty of space out the front of the goal square. So this is a tactic by Mark Williams. There they are.
Whitnell playing centre half forward for Carlton is starting up on a wing at the centre square bounces. Of course, he's trying to drag Mead out of that hot spot at the top of the 50 where he's comfortable and normally plays his best football in that negating role. He's going to run Mead around all day. Koutafidis will do the same with Paxman.
Koutafidis now at centre half forward. Bradley's virtually at full forward along with Hickmott. From the centre square, Port Adelaide scores a level, 1-1 apiece. Franco goes to ground. Still the umpire calls play on. He's waiting for someone to bang it out. They'll ball it up.
Interesting with Whitnell also at that centre bounce. As soon as the umpire bounced the ball, Whitnell made a beeline for Port Adelaide centre half forward. an extra player kick behind the play, just that flooding initiative.
Freeborn is checking Burgoyne closely, but not close enough. Burgoyne gets across to Stevens. It goes towards centre half forward. He's looking for Treadray. Good hands. Pulled off the ball was Corns. Ratton had it and lost it. Treadray, the tackler. Francis, again, good hands, a good pick-up. Tough in close. Ange Christou and Silvani just dragged Treadray to the ground. Franco, just with strength, somehow got the ball out. Kicked off the ground by Hume. Over the boundary line for a toss back in, so it's tough in close.
Just the internet, i7sport.com.au. There's a great matchup at the moment. Kane Corns on Craig Bradley. The youngest player on the field against the oldest player in the comp. Bradley twice his age, 37 and a half, Corns 18. And they're about to get into the thick of it here. Kane leading him for the moment, 39 and 21. So Polton away at centre wing. He started well, Polton. He runs too far, but he's not pinged. It's a dreadful old kick, but it finds a target. Carr goes forward. Again, an average kick. Ackland nearly takes a beauty. He might have hurt himself. Down low, Treadray tries to get it out. Silvani all over the top of Cockatoo Collins. No free kick. And the Blues are away to centre wing. Gee, there is such a tension about and zest about both sides at the moment. It really has gone up 2 notches, you reckon, from a fortnight ago. Getting it Polton from Primus back to 50. Porter hard at the footy. Plunkett crashes through. Bangs it away. Wants the boundary line. He gets it. But he got it over the line on the full. It's a Port Adelaide kick-in. This is a charged up match. There's Ackland. Looks as if he might be all right. When he first went down, I thought he was in trouble.
Kane Corns from centre wing tries to drill it. Great grab. Finds his brother in Chad.
No players forward of centre for Carlton. They've all flooded back into that midfield clog and that inside 50 flood.
High ball, Porter should get across. Marks unopposed.
It'll be a low-scoring game. Difficult to find the goals.
Has really stepped up with injury to Matthew Allen. Kicks long towards centre wing. He was looking for Whitnell. Kingsley wins a lot of the ball. Good hands that time, but it didn't come off. Hickmont didn't find a target, but Camperelli with the dancing feet comes away on centre wing, pumps it wide. He's looking for Bradley, needs a kind bounce, gets it in front of Corns, keeps the ball alive. Danger here for Port, getting back is Montgomery. Drops a mark. Consummate defender. Plays it through for a minor score.
Well, the tactic's pretty clear for Carlton, isn't it? They're pushing all their players back into that midfield clog, an inside 50-metre area. They'll wait for the fast break, and then Camperelli and Bradley's half-forward flankers will break hard and push into that forward 50 area, which is open with no Port Adelaide players back there.
James has just come on. Ackland has come off with that injury. I'll find out what it is, gentlemen.
And Francis goes long and wide. Well read that time by Whitnell. He's covering a lot of ground, goes short. Finds his partner in crime in Hickmott.
Port having trouble with the kick-ins. Sorry, Kevin. Port having trouble with their kick-ins twice. They've coughed up the kick-ins today.
Porter's on a lead in the pocket. Goes wide to Ange. Had to give ground. Camperelli wants to set it up. Here comes Kuta. Well, he's big and strong. He just seemed to slide into that ball.
Beautiful disposal, Kevin. Camperelli.
This looks a pretty tough angle, Tony.
That's the most difficult pocket to kick goals from. Camperelli's a go-to player, Kevin, isn't he?
Well, he's a beautiful user of the ball. This man means so much to Carlton. 13 goals for the season. So close. He's just shaved that left-hand goalpost and through for a behind.
Could hardly have kicked it better, I reckon, Koutafidis from there. He actually kicked it very well. So let's see how Port do here. Dew coughed it up the first time. The second time, Francis kicked to nobody. Franco admonished Dew the first time, admonished Francis the second time. Let's see where he goes. Straight down the centre. He's gone with a very long kick. Meets a target. Porter gets across. Montgomery got the read. Front spot, Treadray. Good hands. It was a funny old kick. Not paid, is it? Should have been. Yes, it is. He's got Cockatoo Collins wide. He'll go to him. Not a great kick. McKay comes in and affects a very good mark or spoil. Take your pick. Treadray, poor disposal there for the power. Franchina under the pump. Put his player under the pump. Wanganeen brilliantly done. Carr to kick a goal. Played Wanganeen. How hot is the footy? I mean, it's as hot as I've seen this season.
All the work being done between the two 50-metre lines. So much pressure. McKay put beautiful pressure on Cockatoo Collins. And you just see the body contest, hard in and under play. Wanganeen just sitting in the right spot and Carr sitting off the contest. Kicks an important goal.
Josh Carr on screen. Puts Port in front, 2-1-13. They lead by 4 points. Carlton 1-3-9. It's always a good sign when you win the loose ball after a lot of tough contests. Porter in the ruck, eyeing off Primus. So important to get that ball out of the centre square. Plunkett just bangs the ball back towards centre half forward. Kingsley to Polton. It's a fresh air shot. Schofield's come straight off the interchange bench. He just replaces Jew. Hume, tireless work at the rat and the playmaker goes short. Camporelli, the star, 45 metres out. Hammers it home.
Good finish, wasn't it? It really was a great finish. They just hassled Port out of it, Tony, in the middle of the ground. They just kept on swarming all over the top of them, didn't they?
Well, Camporelli's just such a dangerous player. We've talked before the game about his possession rate all over the ground. Today he's playing from a half-forward flank. He's had 7 possessions for the game. Just leaned back and on that right leg and just beautifully put it through the goal.
Kingsley, I reckon, 3 times today's had the footy and hasn't been able to get it to somebody because of the pressure on him. So Carlton back in front. So already 3 or 4 lead changes in what's a charged up match. Hottest footy I reckon we've seen this year, this one, to get in close. Kingsley did well and bangs to centre half forward. Cockatoo Collins, McKay. Whitnell down there. Hard handball coming back from Corns to Cockatoo Collins. He has to toe poke. Freeborn has got the job on Burgoyne. Burgoyne up Cockatoo Collins. A sensational spoil. McKay terrific on Treadray. The ball to Francis, to Chad Corns. Didn't go anywhere with the kick. Again, the ball has to be won. It's hooked out the back. Franco tries to get through. He comes into 3 tacklers. Christou to Plunkett. Terrific stuff, the Blues. To Koutafidis at centre wing. Paxman did all right. Primus, well played Paxman. That's a big battle to win. Wanganeen outnumbered. Drifting across the front. Porter, who has started really well here. There's Whitnell, their leading goal kicker. Back in defence. Terrible kick to centre wing. A big shove there on Franchina. Got away with it. And he's lucky. He's going to get a free kick for hanging on. He's a lucky boy at half-back.
Got away with it. He was outnumbered. It was a poor kick from Whitnell. Franchina hugging the boundary line. Montgomery forces the ball over. Boundary throw in. 2-3-15 the Blues. 2-1-13 Port. 8 minutes left in this first quarter. Throw in on centre wing. Porter and Mead. Porter too big, takes the front position. Schofield is all tied up. Franco again feeds out the ball to Kingsley. Loves to set it up short in front. Wanganeen! I would have paid the mark. It hasn't been paid. I reckon he had plenty of purchase on it. Camporelli does a 3-6 and is crunched by Corns. Right on 50.
Gee, Primus has been caught down back now. Whitnell's on his own. Mead's going to have to get back in a hurry. Primus goes forward. Gee, Wanganeen, what do you reckon? He just about had it, didn't he?
Well, I thought he had purchase. If he's got purchase and the ball is then punched out of his arms by his opponent, it's got to be paid.
The umpires are umpiring the game well. They're letting it go. I don't think he...
No, it's a good call.
Control the ball.
Yep, the umpire got it right. From here, it looked like he had purchase, but he didn't have it. Kingsley, front edge of the centre square. Great kick. Finds Treadray. Through a shoot from 45 metres.
He's the most important player for Port Adelaide today, Treadray. It's an interesting matchup with Silvani. Treadray can work down the ground up to the wing area, or he can do his hard work inside 50. Silvani just can't afford to give him that much space. He really needs to play him shoulder on shoulder. Treadray, interesting, kicks more goals in the first half than the second half. Important shot.
Well, he's kicked 19 goals, 11 for the season. Treadray, 45 metres out. He's missed.
Jeez,
a bad miss.
He come right off that, Kevin, didn't he?
Leant back.
Come off the ball.
He's had a lot of kicking problems over the years. Got it right at the start of the year. Kicked poorly in Sydney 2 weeks ago. Sort of needed that one, didn't he? But he knows. 2-2 to 2-3. He did destroy the Blues a few years back, didn't he, at Optus one day?
Kicked 8 goals.
Whitnell's the target player on Carlton kickouts on this wing.
So Mead did pretty well. Then Silvani inside, not a great handball. Franco's handball back to Corns, okay. Good handball by Corns. Kingsley starting to get plenty of the footy. Sets it up for Wanganeen in the pocket. Got it. What a mark. Terrific spot up kick and a wonderful mark. He had purchase on that one. The umpire did get the right the last time. We were fooled. The umpire wasn't, but that was a wonderful mark.
Well, Manton and Beaumont did nothing wrong, did they? It's just the brute strength of Wanganeen. Geez, he's a marvellous player. Just terrific inside 50. Strong, quick, leads hard.
Improves the angle and misses. So a couple of behinds for Wanganeen. Well, he missed the first shot he had, and he's missed another. Porter level here at 2-3 apiece.
Now, it's a clear sign of the respect that Carlton have got for Wanganeen by pushing Beaumont back in the goal square. Of course, Beaumont has been an attacking centre-half back, running player all year. Whitnell will push back, allows Beaumont to go. Of course, he can't do that on Wanganeen today. A, because he's playing from the goal square, and B, he's just got to pay Wanganeen respect.
And Christou goes for the long option. He's looking for Porter. Corns was a high flyer. Loose ball, 55 out. Well set up by James. Danger here. Steinburner running onto the ball. Couldn't take it. Christou trying to work his way out of trouble. Fletcher across half back. Camporelli has been an absolute star. He's been fouled. Downfield. Lappin has pounced on it. Advantage has been paid. Camporelli is still down. Koutafidis has got it. He's looking into the sun. Hickmott wants it short. Whitnell wants it long. Mead versus Whitnell. Whitnell working him under the ball. Schofield from half back. Port Para quick. Then they break wide. Schofield's got it. Not Schofield. Make it. Correction, Franco. Short to Burgoyne.
Camporelli's just picked himself up, Kevin. I tell you what, gee, it looked pretty tough by Franco and Camporelli a moment ago.
Corns. Kane Corns. Centre wing. Porter has been reading it well. Got back in front of Chad Corns, and here's Camporelli. Some Lewards water. He's been revived. Finds Lappin. Edge of the centre square. Carlton players have to get back. Lappin goes long. They can raffle it. Hickmott has pounced on it. Rockets the ball back to Bradley. Whitnell's going to be the target. He'll have two to beat. He's got Mead to beat and also Montgomery. Numbers are going to win out. Montgomery slides it back over the line.
Here's how Camporelli got injured a moment ago with Franco.
Yes,
Yeah,
well, that's a very nasty one. There'll be a little bit of heartburn during the week. Primus, bit of a fresh air shot. Smashed forward. Francis has pounced on it. Started on the bench, but only for a minute. Such a penetrating kick. Treadray comes in. Strong arm tactics by Treadray as Francis pumps the ball long.
Treadray's been pinned here, Kevin.
Well, he ran hard and he ran long. He was going to have some sort of physical pressure. Camporelli has had so much of the ball.
That was after the Treadray incident, that one with Silvani.
Hume. Big improver this year for Carlton. Goes wide. Porter just lumbered to the ball along with Primus. Ange Christou pulled up the ball. It wasn't seen. Primus on hands and knees with strength over the ball. He'll be pinged.
He's gone.
No attempt to knock the ball out. Just put the big frame over the top. Nelson. Christou bangs the ball long. And Koutafidis, too tall, too big, too good.
Jenna, just a quick update on Kane Ackland. He rolled his ankle, it's been strapped, he should be all right to go on. Ironically though, they've taken Kingsley off, who's been getting a lot of the ball just for a bit of a rest.
Well, he's had it 10 times. And Porter also is going off, and Houghton coming on for Carlton. Koutafidis should kick a goal. Just 40 metres out, directly in front. Koutafidis nails it. He just sort of glides to the ball. He's got real presence, Tony Koutafidis.
Well, he's got presence inside 50, but he's also got the ability to push down the ground, and it's an interesting role that Koutafidis is playing with Whitnell as well. They both obviously are working in tandem, have a licence to, one of them pushes up to the wing area, the side of the ground where the play's going. The other one works back to inside 50, working well together.
Carlton by a goal. Koutafidis. Now Hume is on his own in the forward line here. Nick Stevens is forced to go back. Bradley comes out of the goal square. A lot more room in the Carlton forward line when they go forward against Port. Primus against Houghton now. Looks for a free. He was held on to and he gets it. Houghton just had to release him a bit earlier, didn't he?
You find Houghton and Porter will double team on Primus today. Primus hasn't had a big influence on the game. Against Sydney 2 weeks ago, the Sydney ruckman both double teamed him, trying to wear his influence down as the game unfolds.
Kane Corns, bad kick, and McKay makes an error, and Chad Corns forces it out. Terrific opening term. Francis and Deuce are the on-offs there. Gee, the coaches' boxes would have been working overtime in this opening quarter, wouldn't they? Carlton setting the tone early, I feel, with a few of their matchups, but Port responding, and again a ball up. Stevens and Hume having a go at one another off the ground, off the ball. There's a lot of feeling here.
Bruce, just having a look at those midfield statistics. Hume is playing on Stevens. They've had 3 possessions each. Plunkett is tagging Franco. They've had 6 each. Carr is playing on Ratton. Ratton's had 5 touches and Carr 3. So fairly even in those midfield run with roles.
Chad Corns, Schofield, off the side, but he had no room to move really or manoeuvre with a kick, and he finds about 25 metres. I guess the key there is that Nick Stevens hasn't been able to hurt Carlton yet, has he? Whereas Kemper really has hurt Port Adelaide.
I think another interesting play, Bruce, today could be Schofield and Francis, who have been terrific for Port all year, started on the bench. That might just get them really, get their backs up and really into this game today.
Houghton, Jude tried to snare it. Freeborn down low, Franco did well, no free kick. Francina was terrific there, and Lappin's hands were wonderful to McKay as the Blues are away to Hickmott. Look at this open forward line. Camporelli just made an error, back to Hickmott, in the back, free kick. It was a poor effort by Nick Stevens. He didn't have to go into his back, he had him. Hume's away, Cooter's the go-to man, and he does just that. Let's see what happens here. Paxman falls over, Cooter doesn't, and he'll kick another one. How good is he? Can't fall over in the contest and have any chance at all when you're playing on Koutafidis. Port exposed a bit there. 4-3 to 2-3.
Interesting tactic, isn't it? Just pushing all your players back, keeping your forward line open. There's no question Koutafidis is a target player, and there's no better player in the competition. He was always going to be a difficult player to match up on. Paxman doing a good job, but he just had to hold his feet there, put maximum pressure on such a dangerous player like Koutafidis.
Koutafidis has 2 goals. The Blues lead 27 to 15. He's just too big and strong for Paxman to move off the ball. Able to stand his ground. Houghton, Mr. Fix-It, comes off the bench into the ruck. Ratton, their playmaker, couldn't find a target. Second effort. Goes wide, great vision, finds the runner Fletcher from half back. He's looking for Lappin. Montgomery has to close quickly. Happy to see the ball over the line.
They're well drilled, Carlton, Bruce, aren't they?
No doubt.
I know they got their game plan. They're playing it to a T.
Cooter's a problem, isn't he? Because Paxman is doing well, but there's nobody else you can think of to go with him.
They tried Montgomery on Tarrant 3 or 4 weeks ago. Maybe that's the move.
Stevens, cross half back, unloads towards James.
I mean, Montgomery's going to give height away, and that's probably the danger. And they've got Wakelin up their sleeve as well. So there are 2 or 3 options, only early in the game. I'd leave Paxman on him for the time being, but they're certainly trying to exploit him with space.
And you can see Hume there just worrying Stevens. He's one of their guns. James to Stevens. They'll just share the ball around, trying to work it around the boundary line. And Manton just had enough to fist the ball back over. Just over 30 seconds left in this first quarter. 4-3-27 the Blues. Port Adelaide 2-3-15. Centre wing. Primus took the front position. Bradley was held after getting rid of the ball. James picking up a couple of possessions. Bangs the ball back. Cockatoo Collins pulled off the ball. There was no free kick. Treadway has pounced on it to Schofield. 45 metres out. Should kick a goal. Bad miss.
Probably their last chance in the opening term. Rob Snowden next to Mark Williams. Mark Williams on the left there. Schofield, Walsh. But Rob Stone, the team manager, Mark obviously the coach. But gee, not a gimme goal for Schofield, but one you'd reckon he'd get. Just the pressure.
It is dangerous when he gets space, Schofield.
Treadray was terrific there, wasn't he?
Strong contest.
So
great jewels all over the ground.
There is. Oh, that is so close to the line. If I was Dennis Committee, I'd say centimetre perfect, wouldn't I? Silvani. What a quarter. I mean, the scoreboard says 2-4 to 4-3. You just feel like there's been a lot more footy played than all of that. It's been a terrific opening term. It has set the scene for what hopefully will be a memorable day here in Adelaide. It was, on paper, the most important game of the season here in Adelaide for either Port or the Crows. It was the most significant game in terms of shaping the season, and it has turned out to be a beauty early on. So many matchups, so many tactical changes, a lot of feeling out there, maybe an incident or two that'll be looked at, and Kutafidis with a couple of goals. So Carlton lead 4-3 to 2-4 at quarter time. Starting on Mackay now. So the Blues by 11 points over the Power. Port kicking to what I think will be the scoring end. To the right of screen, Primus did well to Franco to Burgoyne, but quickly Hugh Mack to him. And that's been Carlton. They've been able to hassle Port here. Probably didn't need to handball Franco back, but it was a fair move. Nelson, Fletcher, Wiggins, Houghton. So again, three of the ins, Nelson, Fletcher, Wiggins to start. Houghton the swing man for Porter at about the 20-minute mark to come on and try and negate Primus, hoping that Primus is tired a bit by then. Primus winning the tap. Schofield started interchange, had a good second part of the opening term and starts in this match. And Franco, well done, did very well, did brilliantly well, and then delivers badly to Treadray. The kick let down some very good footy, and Silvani's able to ping him off to Plunkett and Burgoyne. Not a great kick by Silvani, and Franchina gets rid of Burgoyne very effectively because it paves the way for Plunkett. It was terrific play by Franchina. Plunkett runs a long way and kicks to Mansfield all on his own in the pocket. Port caught out there going forward, the Blues. Gee, Franchina's body work on Burgoyne, whether it was
strong,
legitimate or not, was very effective, wasn't it?
I tell you, it was hard running by Mansfield as well. He's playing on Stuart Dew, keeping him very quiet in a run with roll. Mansfield ran from the grandstand halfback flank to that far forward pocket to create that opportunity.
Kicked a few goals in his days at Geelong, but that's a poor one. Twice in All-Australian. We tend to forget with Mansfield just how good he was in the mid-1990s. He was a great player for the Cats for a couple of years.
Well, he was a great finals player. Stevens from the back pocket. 4-3-27 Carlton. Danger here. Camperelli can kick a goal. Unselfish players looking for Hume. And in the end, Carlton couldn't hurt Port.
Gentlemen, just quickly, the bench for the Power: Wakeland, Francis, Steinburner and Cockatoo Collins.
Camperelli, a lot of the ball in that first quarter, 11 possessions. Still a chance for the Blues from the boundary throw-in. Primus doing the ruck work. Camperelli taken high that time. No free kick. Franco is working in close in the clinches. Just can't break clear. It's pretty tough.
Ackland's back, Kevin. He rolled his ankle in that opening quarter, so he starts at full forward for the Power.
What that does is give them a taller forward setup with Corns, Treadray and Ackland up there. So if they want to go long over the 50-metre line, they can.
Franco wants a free kick, then just rips the ball out of the arms that time of Hickmott. Again a ball up, just 40 metres out from Carlton's goal.
One of the things with Port Adelaide's game this year, they've been so efficient in the midfield. They've been able to get away, and they've moved the ball so quick. They've been able to get away with using a small or medium forward line. Wanganeen, Cockatoo, Collins. They've decided to go taller today.
There's just so much pushing and shoving off the ball from those boundary and ball ups as Primus just hacks the ball out wide. Plunkett, it's been a little bit of a surprise packet in this game so far. Drops the ball in short, taken by Freeborn. Good 60 metres out from goal. Now, the whistle is gone, and a free kick is going to Carlton, and it's going to go to Lappin. Now, that was off the ball.
Indicating against Montgomery for a shove in the face. That's the umpire's indication to Montgomery.
Well, I wouldn't imagine Mark Williams would be thrilled with that. I mean, his team is under as intense a pressure as they've been all year. Just can't afford to be giving away undisciplined free kicks inside 50 when the game is as tight as this is.
Well, he's booted 18 goals, 12 for the season. Important kick for the Blues. We think kicking into a slight breeze from 45 metres out, Lappin across the face of goal. Finally forced over, tossed back in.
Makes you wonder, those Port misses in the opening term. It does look difficult to the left of screen, doesn't it? Seen a couple of ordinary shots from Mansfield down Lappin, both pretty good kicks.
Gentlemen, this new grandstand has just changed the whole wind dynamics down that area. That's probably the reason.
Primus. Yes, it's a left forward pocket, left of screen. The grandstand will be a high tackle on Camporelli. It'll be opened up in 3 or 4 weeks' time. Camporelli's not happy. He got knocked out in the opening quarter, and he's very unhappy here with Kingsley. That's just a run of the mill. That happens a fair bit in footy, but the first one didn't excite him
more worried
too
about
much.
Franco coming in at the end.
Okay, well, he'd remember what Franco did to him in the opening quarter. He's skillful enough to nearly kick this. This is a very, very tough kick. Gee, that is a fantastic result. I wouldn't have thought that too many players on the ground would have kicked from there, but he was the one you gave half a chance to. He's kicked 2. He's probably the best player on the ground at this point.
That's a brilliant goal. It's a difficult pocket to kick goals from. He's just such a highly skilled player, hard ball winner, hard runner, but also brilliant inside 50, either on the run or set shot.
So a couple to Camporelli. Yes, Franco coming in late there. So he's collected him twice now. Gee, Porter in a slight hole at the moment. They haven't kicked a goal for a long time. And Carlton are getting on top on the scoreboard in play. Franco read it beautifully. Well done, Primus. Kicks the ball forward. Wanganeen stretches his man. Does brilliantly. Can he do a Koutafidis? He's running hard. He's missed. Oh, he has missed. He can't believe it. He's had 3 goes at goal and he hasn't got one of them. And you just feel early signs in matches tend to be ominous. In the end, it was almost a gimme. I know it's at full pace, but he'd done all the hard work and couldn't finish it.
Christou goes wide, finds McKay. 3 behinds to Gavin Wanganeen playing his turn of the game. Franchina, the loose player, has been picking up Franco. Bangs the ball long, Hickmott's the target. Coming in hard that time was Poulton. It's been handy across half-back. He's had a few injuries during his career. Meads caught by Franchina. Loose ball, Primus just fends off Plunkett. Good enough to get his boot to the ball. Burgoyne, he'll get support from Corns. Hugging the boundary line, pumps the ball back, 2 against 1. The Blues should win out. Treadray's got 2 to beat. Make that 3. 3-born, tackle, loose ball. Christou. Great kick, and Porter takes an easy grab on centre wing.
They've just got the numbers back, the Blues at the moment, flooding back.
And Christou just starting to get back to some good form. Koutafidis couldn't take it on the second grab. His partner in crime is Hickmott, so dangerous across that half-forward line. A great grab that time by James. The run comes from Jew. Can he thump it long? He goes short, sets it up to Franco, who works hard to Schofield. Now the run comes from Port, running with a fly the ball. Tough courage, Paxman. Magnificent effort. He wants to play on to Carl. He's been dragged back because he's marked. He took the ball over for the mark.
Wanganeen's in a bit of strife too. That was one of the gutsiest marks you'd ever see from Paxman.
He ran a long way with it, didn't he?
Not only was it a gutsy mark, but it was gutsy running as well.
It's James. Yep.
I mean, that's Port Adelaide, a beautiful mark by James. That's Port Adelaide at their best. Get the ball, move it quick, spear the ball into the midfield and just forward of centre and move it quickly.
But they needed a turnover to create it. They got the turnover. That created the run, didn't it? That created that space for them.
So it's twofold, isn't it? It's the pressure that Carlton are applying to Port Adelaide and reversing it, and it's also the quick movement of the ball, and that gives them the opportunity to move the ball quickly and set up scoring opportunities.
Wanganeen looks okay. Paxman, an important kick. for Port Adelaide. He drills it.
I'll tell you what, Kuda might have kicked 2 in the first quarter, and Paxman's just levelled the score with that one, I think, don't you? It's a big goal.
It's a team-lifting goal.
Absolutely. And it's significant, I think, that backmen who take a risk, particularly when they're on classy players, and push themselves forward, I think teams really pick up on that. And then you find it starts to create all throughout the side that forward running, which is what Port Adelaide need.
So Paxman and Kudafiti's interesting duel, isn't it? What a goal that was. 3-5 to 5-3. Franco's work rate has really lifted here. Primus and Franco, the keys in the centre square for Port. But this time it's over the top Porter. Jew getting a couple of possessions, forced to hurry. Christo and Corns. Corns was manhandled. Well played there by Freeborn because Schofield was away. Christo brilliantly to Mansfield, to Franchina, to Silvani. Silvani measures to Kuda. Doesn't go. In the end, it was left for Hickmott. Hickmott's back turns a winner. Gets to Ratton. Haven't seen him for a while. Back to Camporelli. Under the gun. Under the gun. Under the hammer. Threw it away. Free kick Port Adelaide. Good signs the last minute for the Power, because the Blues have been making all the running. They have set the agenda. Cockatoo Collins comes off the interchange. Wants an easy kick out wide. Kane Corns hasn't spotted him up. Kicks to Treadray. Silvani to go at him. The belt away, out of play. Kevin, just a little change in the tempo in the last minute or two.
Well, I think you get inspired when you see a teammate run with the flight of the ball for about 25 to 30 metres and takes a courageous mark, then kicks a goal. It's got to inspire your teammates. Paxman. It was a big effort. Can he lift him? Porter takes the front position. Hume. Just a short toe poke. Loose ball. Burgoyne. Just had it, lost it. It's tough in close. They'll pile on top. Primus wants a free. He'll get a ball up.
It's Cockatoo Collins on for Port Adelaide. Chad Corns goes back to the goal square. Ackland off.
Carlton by 10 points. Kudavides has kicked 2 as Scott Camporelli. And just singles to Franco, Treadray and Josh Carr. Ball up on centre wing. Primus pulled off the ball. And again a ball up.
I like Port Adelaide's forward structure now. They've got their 4 most dangerous players inside 50. Treadray at the top of the 50. Cockatoo Collins floats. Corns and Wanganeen in the goal square. Like the structure. Push their half forwards up the ground to getting more numbers around the contest. On the wing area, looking for a forward clearance and then quick movement.
Josh Franco also off, having a breather. He's had it 10 times. Primus tried to shovel it out, Plunkett. Hurries the kick back towards the half-forward line. Fulton couldn't take it. Kudafiti's was a wild handball. Ratton, a clever handball. The Kudafiti's, it's a centering kick. Whitnell's getting back, thumped away by Montgomery. And Mead as well.
What up, Mead?
Puts it through for a behind.
That was hot, wasn't it?
Oh, Kuda's such a difference at the moment, isn't he? Every time they go forward, if they can get him one out, the Blues, you're going to back him in to win the contest, aren't you?
Well, he's got size. He looks so big today, Kuda.
He does look like a Greek god today, doesn't he?
Due to bring the ball back into play. Goes short into the pocket. Finds Kingsley. They share the ball around. Stevens, a transfer of play. Just wanting to set up the loose player. They do it well through Paxman. The run comes from Jew to James through the centre square to the half-forward line. Treadray drops a sitter. Silvani gave the ball away. Kudafiti's to Camporelli. The 2 big guns. Great vision, goes wide, finds Whitnell. Hickmott wants it inside 50. Bradley short. Can he set it up? Franchina's out at centre half forward. Bradley takes him on. Gets around Primus. Bradley, wild shot. It's out on the full.
But Kevin, what was Primus doing on the mark at half forward left or right? It was always on that Bradley might take him on. I mean, they got away with a Port in the end, didn't they? So Polton wide. That's a very dangerous kick to Carr with Hickmott front spot. Carr did really well. And releases Nick Stevens, who's had a pretty average game so far. Montgomery, not well done. Kudafiti's embarrasses him here and goes short to Lappin. McKay's on.
He just didn't really want to take it, Montgomery, did he? I mean, I think that's more of a confidence thing than anything.
I agree. He's low on confidence. McKay's kick to the pocket. Oh, free kick, Whitnell, surely. Well, be careful, Meaty.
Josh Carr off, Steinburner on.
First shot Whitnell's had for goal. John Worsfold spoke to Bruce Linder about his work rate. He was starting up on the centre wing at the centre bounces in the opening term. He has worked very hard, Whitnell. He's their leading goal kicker. He's missed. It's a hard pocket. Camporelli performed the trick. It was a miracle, I reckon, when you look back. So the Blues edge up to 5-5 to 3-5. Tony McGuinness told us an hour ago it'll be a low-scoring game. They're hard to get goals right now.
Stewie Jew finds James. Mead wants it wide. Pinpoint accuracy. Gets a shot from Mansfield. Blues 35 plays 23. 5-5 to 3-5. Jew. The run comes from Schofield. Sets it up to Fabian Francis. Starting the bench in this second quarter. Inside 50. Cockatoo Collins. Couldn't take it. And a slight shot from Ange Christou as well. Beaumont goes short, goes very short, and getting a lucky bounce was Bradley. The loose players set up. Plunkett rockets the ball wide. Camporelli has been a star in the midfield. Great kick. Finds Ratton. Kingsley's got the job playing on Brett Ratton. In the square. It's a goal. He was looking for Wiggins. And Wiggins, who's been on the interchange bench, the kick was meant for the young man from Glenorchy. Had too much carry, and it was a goal.
Gee, Porter getting caught so often, Tony, from half-back when the Blues get it on the hop back. The turnover is hurting them on the way back.
It's primarily due to pressure around the ball, and also the Blues just working so hard, pushing forward.
They've got loose men everywhere out forward when they're able to turn it over. So the Blues 6-5 to 3-5. It was 2 goals apiece, so Carlton have dominated on the scoreboard over the last half hour or so. And Port are getting caught out when Carlton are able to turn it over and get a possession at half-back. They get loose men forward all the time. Mansfield doing well. Belts it forward. Kingsley down low. Terrific. James has had a fair bit of it. Uses Schofield. This is the important kick now. He runs a long way. He keeps it down low. Port not winning the one-on-ones up forward as they have earlier in the year. And running it over the line was Beaumont. Just a reminder about our internet site, i7sport.com.au, for all the information. It'll sum up round 12 tonight. The split round. Blues holding firm down back. They've got the second best defence in the competition statistically going into this round. And you can see why. Corns just tried to belt it away with his boot. Silvani puts Manton under the gun. They rip it off him. Jew, it's a great kick. What a goal. It's come back. He's drilled it home. You could not put it into a better player's hands than Jew at that moment.
He's had a good quarter too. Quarterless in the kickless in the first quarter. He's dangerous when he gets space. Mansfield's done a terrific job on him.
It was just a strange decision by Silvani to handball to Manton.
Sort of kicked it long.
He's under pressure.
As if there's his work rate, Jew.
Stewie Jew on screen. He's been at 25 goals, 8 for the season.
They're right in the game, Port Adelaide. Carlton have dominated on the ground, but the scoreboard, there's very little in it. They need another goal now to put that extra pressure on.
Just 12 points, just over 8 minutes left in this second term, and Primer's starting to get his hands on the ball. Burgoyne from the centre square. Wanganeen couldn't take it. Silvani closing quickly as Montgomery tries to keep the ball alive. Cockatoo Collins does keep it alive. Lappin caught. Christou, penetrating kick. He's looking for Mansfield. What a grab. Under a lot of pressure from Jew. From half back. Primus. Hume. Robes it well. Koutafidis. Can he set it up for Carlton in front? Great kick. Whitnell has got it. He's 45 out and finds Hickmott.
They are the best drilled team that I've seen all year. I mean, it's not necessarily reflective of how they've played all year, but they've certainly done some work since that Richmond game 2 weeks ago, pushing players up the ground, and they use the ball so beautifully. Port Adelaide just had to get that next goal to maintain that pressure. They look dangerous, Port, but when Carlton get that fast break.
Hickmott, such an important player in the Blues structure. Pushed it left for a minor score.
How good were the Blues down back a moment ago? The pressure was unbelievable, and yet Christou's kick to Mansfield, whose mark was just as good. There was precision football under the gun. And when they go forward, they have got space, and they win the one-on-ones, don't they? So create some problems for Port.
Well, if you can just isolate their good players against their opponent, such as Whitnell or Koutafidis. Here's Francis. Some strong arm tactics, just brushed his opponent aside. Sets it up, Corns, centre wing, high ball. Koutafidis thought he was interfered with. Will take the free kick.
It's a poor effort by Kane Corns, though. The kick was dreadful. Not sure why Francis, who's a much better kick, didn't go on with it himself. Free kick to the Blues.
He could have too, Bruce. He handballed behind the line. All he did was put his teammate under pressure. There was a player forward of the play he could have gone to with a kick.
Burgoyne just did well to get into the front spot there. It was a good call by the umpire. It was a contested mark.
Port Adelaide supporters thought he took this mark. He backed back. It was a good effort.
I thought Wiggins got a bit of it myself. What do you reckon, Kevin? You're on the rules committee.
I think you paid the man in front.
We'd have paid the mark to Burgoyne. Okay. 6-6-4-5 here. I'm not going to argue with you all day like Cornsey did last week. Kingsley runs it over the line for a boundary throw-in. Well, pretty important 5 minutes just to set the scene for the second half.
It's a great challenge for Port Adelaide, Bruce.
One more goal to the Blues gives them real breathing space. Port get the goal, and it's a 50-50 game. You don't think there'll be too many goals scored in the last 5 minutes. Houghton bangs it forward. Now, these players must be getting tired. Wiggins, McKay. There are more goals scored in second halves than first halves, particularly these two teams. They're about the best two second half teams in the competition, and players will be tired after half time here.
So, Bruce, I just saw them. We talked about the matchups before the game. I saw Camporelli and Stevens, two of the most dominant midfielders in the game, go to the Carlton goal square. It's modern football, isn't it? Two hard-working, of the best midfielders sitting in the goal square.
Primus did well, but he couldn't get any space, and he pushes it to the line, and a boundary throw-in. It has been a red-hot game from the opening bounce. Terry Wallace will join us at half-time to talk about the Bulldogs and how they're travelling and the time off, and also his impressions of the Blues and the power. He plays the Blues next week at Optus.
Primus just worked his way to the front. James shares it around with Kingsley. A real ball magnet. Wants to set it up. A couple of casual bounces. Goes back towards the edge of the centre square. The kick was a shocker. Mansfield bangs the ball back. High ball. One for the high flyers. And over the top is Primus. Now, he's paid a free kick, has he?
I think he's paid the mark.
Paid the mark. Let's have a look at this. Primus came over the top. Gee whiz. James comes away from half back. Cockatoo Collins made ground. He was looking into the sun. Steinburner tried to shield the eyes. It's out on the full. So the Blues have forced Port Power wide. Bradley, he's got the loose player in Houghton. Back edge of the centre square. Houghton goes short. Finds Hume. Hickmott's going to be the target in front. He's going to make ground. Pushed off the ball. There was no free kick. And finally just trickles over the line for a toss back in.
Franco on, Burgoyne off.
So a big chance for the Blues. 6-6-42. They lead by 13 points. 4-5-29 Port. Koutafidis to do the ruck work against Primus. Pulled off the ball. He's looking for a free kick. Kingsley does well. Toe pokes it towards the boundary line. McKay has pounced on it. Sets it up. Danger here. Camporelli. Short to Ratton. So the old firm combine. Ratton. Just continues to win the ball, hard runner, great competitor. He's had a magnificent season. From 35 metres out, doesn't like it.
Just the pressure a moment ago. Kingsley won a very hard ball. He had James all on his own for the handball. And the pressure, he forced him to go to the line, and Camperelli able to get hold of it.
I think another significant move, Bruce, is that the Port Adelaide coaching box have probably conceded that Bradley and Camperelli, although not playing directly in the midfield, are two of the most dangerous players, playing as half forwards, pushing up the ground. Styburn on to Bradley. Stevens goes back to half back on to Camperelli.
Speaking of Bradley, there's a poor kick in, and Steinburner was the target, and Bradley's able to get hold of it. He's been forced back a long way to Silvani. Silvani wide, and again they've got space, the Blues. Port don't seem to be able to create it like Carlton can. McKay away to centre half forward. Ratton again. He's had a lot of the ball inside 50 in this quarter.
Mark Williams must be concerned about his kick-outs. They just haven't been able to break that screen at all. I wonder if the better play would be, I mean, Dew can kick the ball 60 metres. Why not just get your players huddled at the 40-metre mark and bomb the ball long and hit the contest?
Good kick, Ratton, as a goal. He's put it home. Well, they're just playing smarter footy under the enormous pressure that's out there for both teams. I mean, it's a hotbed out there for both, but the Blues are not making the same mistakes as Port Adelaide.
Well, the difference is those short plays that the Port Adelaide are trying to spot players. The kick-out is a perfect example. They're not able to do it. Carlton are hitting targets all the time.
It's a good goal. That's a terrific goal by Ratton.
Brett Ratton's had it 13 times. He's booted 2 goals. Just under 3 minutes left in this second quarter. 7-7-49 the Blues. 4-5-29 Port. Houghton beaten by Primus. Taken away by Franchina. Danger signs here for Port. Ratton again. Bottom of the pack. Hume, his partner in crime. Camperelli, 45 metres out. It's going to bounce through. Wrong side. Just a grimace from Scott Camperelli.
Nearly double the score here, aren't they? They're creeping up to having a very good lead at half-time. Low-scoring game, 21 points in front. Port cannot concede in the last couple of minutes here. If they do, they've got to get one back themselves, you would think. Paxman. So they started with Dew and Francis as their specialist kick-ins. Now they've gone to Paxman, and he just goes to a 50-50. In fact, the Blues have better than 50-50. Kudafides look for a free kick. Hume. Carlton are on top here. Hume turns his man inside out, then centering kick. Wiggins a target. Whitnell at the back. Kane Corns did well. Lappin back to Fletcher in a hurry. Mansfield a left footer under the gun. Gets it out. Bolton finds some space. Again under pressure. Hooks the ball back. Cocky versus Christou. It comes for Montgomery. Port need a goal. They need to set it up. Montgomery's kick not good. Treadray under the pump. It's a poor effort. Montgomery shocking handball. Francis handball over the top. Wanganeen's going to get a goal, and he does. What a turnover that one was. Montgomery's poor kick, but then the Blues make a second shocking handball, which results in a second goal. The last 2 Port Adelaide goals have come from handballing mistakes from Carlton.
Well, I've heard Wayne Britton talk before about a single moment, a single defining moment that can change a game. I just wonder whether that goal will come back and haunt Carlton. Probably the lucky part for Carlton is it is late in the quarter. If Port Adelaide had momentum and a goal will happen like that, that can really cause further momentum.
Wanganeen in game 200 has kicked 1-3.
Still in touch, Port Adelaide.
They trail by 15 points. Primus. Bit too big for Houghton at the centre bounce. Bradley didn't really find his target. Schofield overruns the ball. Francis pumps the ball back inside 50. Beaumont. Well, there's a player down, that's Cockatoo Collins. Bradley, short to McKay. Just over a minute left in this second quarter. McKay slowing things down. The Blues by 15 points. Primus has gone to full forward. Houghton on the stretch. To the half-forward line. And Mansfield shows the ball. Too far out the score. Koutoufides is going to be a target. He's pulled the kick. Getting back was Ratton. He's got Kingsley to beat. Kicked off the ground by Corns. Toss back in just 25 metres around from Carlton's goal.
Gee, Silvani
Kane
done well on
Corns on
Treadray,
screen.
hasn't he? I was just thinking Treadray's really struggled, hasn't he, to impact here.
I was just thinking the same thing, Bruce. I mean, you interviewed Silvani on Talking Footy a couple of weeks ago, and geez, he's had a brilliant game.
So a chance for the Blues. Mead over the top, thumps the ball away. Consummate defender, and James runs it over the line.
He's one of few players, I think, in the competition, the last 10 or 15 years, who can actually play a game and nearly not make an error and make his opponent be error-riddled all game. And Treadray's pushed him under the ball. He's just lost his confidence for this game, Warren.
Whitnell wins the tap. Polton sets it up to Corns. Kane Corns is going to be run down. Paxman squeezed up on the boundary line. Clever play, got around Koutoufides, runs into trouble. Loose ball, danger here for Port. Kingsley. Somehow they've kept it alive. Pumps the ball out wide. McKay, too tall for Francis.
Does that nearly be better off having run that through and having a long kick from a kick out?
They'll need to take a mark. Time clock ticking away. The siren sounds. At half-time, Carlton leads 7-8-50. They lead by 15 points. Port Adelaide 5-5-35.
What a great first half of footy. But the Blues won both the quarters. They led by 11 at quarter time and they lead by 15 at half-time. That late goal to Wanganeen makes a huge difference. Tony will have a look at the game at half-time, but before that I'll be back with Terry Wallace. We're set up for what should be a terrific second half. You can see him in the background. Koutoufides went out with Paxman in the 54. The Blues by 15 points. Primus, Franco, they've done well, those two, getting it out of the centre. Stevens gets a little kick away. Mansfield's done a good job, gets his hands on it. Dew can't quite affect the handball. They've got hold of him. Ratton, handball out came from Francis, did well. Got it to James, to half forward. Christou's searching for it. Ball was hard to take. Stevens couldn't get hold of it. Beaumont, poor play by Dew. Had to put a handball on him, didn't. Burgoyne had to get a tackle on him, I should say. He tried to bump him. Franco runs it towards the line, still in play. Francina, Camparelli. I think it's out of play. Boundary throw in.
I reckon it was a throw. It was a throw
kick?
here.
It's a free kick.
Francina threw
it
the
out.
ball.
Okay, so Port free kick. Steinburner to get hold of it at half forward, goes in short and finds James.
Too far out to score, good 65 metres. Just an early goal is going to lift the spirits of Port Adelaide. Goes short, finds Primus. Not a noted goal kicker.
It's one thing that Primus hasn't done much today is push forward. May have been a brief at half time. We see all players bar two inside Port Adelaide's 50-metre area.
Just the one goal for the season. I don't think they've used Treadray that well in this game today. A couple of occasions he's been out in front of Silvani. They've kicked the ball over his head. Might be just sapping his confidence. Primus. You wouldn't back him to kick a goal. From right on 50. Sprays it wide and through for a behind. They trail by 14 points. He's kicked one goal for the season.
Gentlemen, the bench for Carlton, Nelson, Fletcher, Wiggins, Houghton started.
And you can see the view there with the Carlton forward line playing right up the ground. Ange Christou has been very good today, just starting to get back to his very best form. Pumps the ball wide. Beaumont. Not paid. Ratton. What a great player he is. He's kicked a couple of goals today. He's their playmaker. The run comes from Francina. The handball from Mansfield. Francina from the half-forward line. Pumps it down. Koutoufides is always going to be a target. Good play by Paxman. Just slaps it back over the line for a toss back in.
Koutoufides looked dangerous in the first quarter, but Paxman's done a terrific job. And on a man-on-man contest there, Koutoufides is strong. Paxman just as strong. Great piece of one-on-one play.
Same interchanges they had earlier, the Blues. Gee, Paxman would have had a nightmare. It was exactly the same spot, wasn't it? But he did really well on Koutoufides. But again, the Blues with space coming forward in time. It's something Port haven't got. Lappin's had a quiet day, but again, look at this. Space and time, and Port haven't had it all day. And Whitnell, how? Why is he on his own? But he is, and he marks 20 metres out.
Port Adelaide bench of Wakeland, Montgomery, Schofield and Ackland.
It's interesting with Wakeland, isn't it? They're just committed him to the bench for the day by the look of it.
Well, I actually asked whether there was some sort of back spasm or injury to him because he was getting that stretched earlier, but they said no, he's fine, it's just the balance and the makeup. Well, the balance isn't working at the moment, is it?
No, and Whitnall to give the Blues the all-important opening goal of the second half. I think he snuck it home. He's got it. And Port have got a perennial problem here of when Carlton get hold of it going forward.
Well, 2 entries inside 50, one for Port Adelaide, one for Carlton. Primus having a shot from 40 metres out and missing. Whitnall finding space on his own, dropping off of Mead, who was at the contest, lining up for a pretty important goal early in this third quarter.
Blues by 20 points. Lance Whitnall, he took the ruck work, Tony, and as soon as he took the ruck work, he ducked back. And of course, Primus was doing the ruck work, and somehow Mead lost contact with him. It's good play by Lappin. Blues by 20. They've drawn first blood. Primus and Porter. They lock horns to around about the 20-minute mark when Houghton comes on. Plunkett was good early. Dangerous here. Koutafidis. He's just too good. There was the strength of Koutafidis. Just push Paxman off the line.
Well, they pushed Silvani back and they've created space for Koutafidis today. He was always going to be the goal kicker and the dominant player inside 50 with Whitnall.
And Koutafidis bangs it through. He's got 3.
And when you've got a quality player like that up forward, it must give you so much confidence as a midfielder. Camporelli, Bradley, Ratton, these type of players driving Carlton forward to see such a dominant, strong player like Koutafidis in the goal square. Whitnall, of course, pushing up the ground, doing a lot of that hard work up around the wing area, then working back as well.
There's Kouta with his 3 goals. Every one of the midfielders in the centre square worked there. Ratton to Hume to Plunkett. Every one of them got a hand on it. Plunkett's been terrific. So's Ratton. Hume's done wonderfully well. And the Blues have caught Port cold here. 9-8 to 5-6. The big margin of the match. Port need the next one. It's not Nick Stevens' day. He got a dreadful bounce. The kick by Hume to centre half forward. Port have got to make a statement, and they've got to make it now. Another goal could put them out of the game. Carr's handball is a good one to Franco. He's got some time, and Polton provided the shepherd. And Franco at half back needs to deliver now. It's a wobbly old scraggy kick to Stevens and a boundary throw in. He's frustrated, Nick Stevens. Hume is worrying him hard. That's the internet site, i7sport.com.au. So look at that scoreboard, 62 to 36.
I wonder, Bruce, whether if Stevens is down on form and confidence, whether they should put him back and have a run with roll with Camporelli then, rather than put him under the pressure to have to be the match winner. I said at half-time that's what I would do. Keep Stevens on the ball. He's their best position, high possession winner. Keep him on there, make him work through it. But if he's having a down day, put him back on their best player.
His efficiency rating told a tale there, 57%. Freeborn's kick, Paxman front spot, Koutafidis too strong. Oh, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. One-handed he did it, and a disappointing kick in the end, and Plunkett knows it. What about Kouta there? that was magic. Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, you name it. We don't need to compare him with those, I don't think. He's a superstar in his own right, certainly at our game. Nobody else could have done that.
Burgoyne, he's on the half-back flank. He'll go short. Too much carry on the ball. Manton over the top. That's been one of their problems all day. They haven't used the ball very well, Port Adelaide. They've missed their targets. And the run comes from Bradley. The veteran runs to 50. Craig Bradley unloads, leans back and kicks a goal. Again, a goal has come to Carlton through a skill error by Port Adelaide.
Well, Kevin, that's classic Craig Bradley play. One of the reasons, apart from his fitness and his work rate, is his cleverness. He worked Josh Carr behind the ball kicker then, created himself 5 metres to run in the space. Carr was left behind him. Bradley had just enough space to have 2 bouncers line up for an important goal. Clever play by the Carlton captain.
Treadrade's gone to half-back. Silvani's gone with him. Chad Corns has gone back. Port flooding here, but they've got to get the ball forward. Suddenly the scoreboard reflects the tone of the match. Carlton have been the best side all day, and now they lead by 5. Plunkett, they've kicked 3 unanswered goals. The match has been cracked wide open. Hume from Ratton. We're about to see whether Port can be a serious September contender. Ratton's kicked a half forward, pushed out Koutafidis, but fairly, the umpire says, and Paxman out wide. It might be too strong a statement, but Port here are really getting a taste of what a finals match could be like, and they're being sorted out, and they've got to respond like a good team. Free kick to Stevens at centre wing. Comes back and going to actually go to Cockatoo Collins. He kicks the half forward. Not a good kick. Dew and Mansfield. Mackay. Suddenly it's become easy for Carlton. There's not a lot of pressure when they get the footy, and Bradley marks it on centre wing. The whole feeling in the game has changed.
Well, it's a mental test as well as a physical one for the Blues. Bradley bangs the ball back towards the half-forward line. Koutafidis couldn't take it. Lapman pounced on it, goes to ground, bounces up. Good enough to get the ball away to Koutafidis, who shovels it out. The run comes from Mansfield, drops it short. Hickmott running, needs a kind bounce. Got to get rid of Polton, does it well. Hickmott sets it up. Mansfield couldn't make enough ground. Chance for Porter with strength, taken to the ground. Inside 50 for Carlton. Dangerous here for Port Adelaide. Loose ball, Paxman does a 360. Handball is a poor one. Hume outside of 50. Sets it up, back to Hume. They just share the ball around. Koutafidis from behind. Forces the crump. Koutafidis, quick snap. Koutafidis has missed.
They've got Port at their mercy, haven't they? They've set the knockout blow. They haven't quite knocked them out, but they are, I reckon, 5 minutes away from winning the match, Carlton, if they can kick the next 2 goals.
Well, they're just standing 8 count.
Yeah, they're just creating such pressure around the dispute contest. Their second liners as well. Franchino, Hume, Plunkett, been terrific supporting Camporelli and Bradley and Ratton.
Dew's kick, Koutafidis, Hume, 3 players everywhere. He is going to kick an easy goal. He's 35. Oh no, he's not. He should have. He's not the best finisher you've ever seen, but boy, he's a good footballer. But when I say easy, I mean the footy was as hot as it gets in the opening half. Right now, it's an easy ball for Carlton every second contest.
Geez, it's a good transition for the Carlton Match Committee, and having those type of players like Franchino and Hume and Plunkett who can go in the midfield and win plenty of ball as well as pulling players down.
Have a look at this. Port just conceding that they can't win a kick out in an orthodox sense, and Dew's just going banging along, and it was straight to Port, who actually should have marked it and belted it away forward.
I don't mind the play though, Bruce, because they've been finessing, trying to spot players. It doesn't work. If it's not your day in doing that, just gather your players at about the 40-metre hot spot, work the ball long with a long kicker, but work it in the space. Hit it behind you and let your runners run onto it.
Primus lays it down. Camporelli with some space. The long kick will be to full forward. Hickmott, oh, good hands. Terrific hands. That's his strength, to be able to mark overhead tall for a medium-sized player.
Guys, the news doesn't get much better for Port Adelaide either. Adam Kingsley has just gone down in the room with what looks like an AC joint problem, so he's in trouble, and Port are on the ropes.
Well, the honeymoon's over for the season, isn't it?
Without doubt.
As Hickmott kicks the goal. And the Blues have set up what should be a match-winning lead.
Well, just another one of the many dangerous Carlton forwards all day. Once again, and it's been the same all day. The play's been set up by the hard-working Carlton midfield and half-forward line, pushing up, getting numbers around the contest, and just clearly outpointing Port Adelaide at the dispute contest.
The Blues have booted 4 goals in 12 minutes. They lead by 40 points after leading by 15 points at half-time, 11 points at quarter-time. Primus still working hard at that centre bounce. Plunkett has been a real surprise packet. The ex-Bulldog to the half-forward line. Bradley still got some zip in the legs. Pulled off the ball that time by Burgoyne. Over the line for a toss back in, and look at Bradley. Just looks back at the umpire.
Mark Williams has pushed Gavin Wanganeen into the midfield. Would probably be his first run there this year, I'd say.
He's played back a few times, on Hudson on one occasion and Philip Matura another.
Primus. Well tackled. Camporelli is over the top there of Steinburner.
I mean, he's a playmaker in the back half. Plenty of experience back there. Maybe you push him back. onto one of those dangerous smalls.
Got to kick some goals to win though, Tony, don't they?
Yep, but they've got to win the ball around the midfield and the half-back line as well to be able to set those goals up.
65 metres out from Carlton's goal. Mead, second man up. James jammed up on the boundary line. Good enough to keep the ball alive. Squeezes along the line.
Hughes in the goal square for Port Adelaide with Mansfield. Vacant forward line for Port Adelaide, pushing all their players, flooding back, getting numbers around the contest, trying to find that clear break to move the ball quickly.
Manton's off and Wiggins on for Carlton. Primus just trying to lift Port Adelaide. McKay really beat. He's been a great defender, the All-Australian. Just runs it back over the line.
It's been a great transition by the Blues. I mean, 2 years ago, too slow, too old, introducing new players into their side and adding some new dynamics into that midfield. Hard-working, effective midfield.
Primus goes to ground. Porter with him, as he has for much of the day. Francis has worked hard to Schofield, who looked dangerous early. Back to Francis. They just can't create, Port. There's too much pressure.
Yes, there's been no room from the work in, Tony. They can't just set themselves to get a good kick away or a good handball away without a Carlton player, so there's no easy kicks and there's no easy handballs.
They've squeezed them tight all day.
Franchina leg out, interesting there. Schofield, good hands. Franco has to finish. Again, a good tackle. He handballs to nobody. Well, that is a great example of what Carlton has done to Port Adelaide's mind today. They've hit them hard physically, and they've given them so many doubts now that they're not sure what to do.
That was super play by Bradley.
Whitnell by himself.
Koutafidis marks at centre wing. Whitnell has dropped back. Treadray's on him. Well, this has been a terrific effort by the Blues. There's been a feeling in Melbourne that they are the only team that can seriously challenge Essendon. They've beaten them twice in the last year and a half. No one else has been able to do that, and today they look the second best team I've seen this year.
Bruce, not only can they threaten Essendon on the ground, but they can threaten them in the coach's box as well. Brilliant coach's box. Talked about some of those big name star players from the past, but good football heads as well.
Well, they did in the first round. Porter shoveled the ball out. Holton heads towards the line, finds Whitnell. Danger here, drills the kick. Young Wiggins has got it. Hickmott couldn't find a target. Schofield, the tackling of Carlton's been magnificent. Steinburner pulled off the ball. Ratton will get support from Whitnell. The big frame falls on top of Carr, and they'll ball it up.
That was a
5 metres out.
It's a clever handball by Hickmott before he's tackled him. He was under pressure. 2 or 3 Port Adelaide players around the ball, so he just dribbled it on the ground.
Those ironical cheers from the crowd is because Wakeland is just about to make his presence felt by coming on for the first time.
Well, Silvani's ran all the way down from full back, and he's by himself in the goal square. Now Treadray has to get back. McKay can't keep it alive.
Is that Silvani pushing forward, or
I'd say so.
and Treadray following him, or Treadray going back and Silvani going with him?
Well, it's interesting to see if we get a camera shot. We've got Silvani, who's playing at full back now in the goal square. Treadray is playing full forward, picking him up. 55 metres out from goals. They're bringing inside 50 now. Polton. Hickmott. So hard at the ball today, the Blues. Take a bow, Darren Hume, and also Franchina. They've been hard at it. They are tough nuts.
The runner just going out to Silvani there, pushing him back. The kick behind the play, back to the traditional centre-half back spot. So effectively what will happen is Treadray will be loose on his own in the back play for Port Adelaide. Silvani loose in the back play, and Port's forward half for Port.
Freeborn. Off the ground by James. And the free kick will go to James.
Silvani picks up Primus now. It looks like he's pushed to full forward.
Tony, the inside 50s. Look at the second quarter and the third quarter. 29-12 in Carlton's favour since quarter time inside 50.
11-10-76 Carlton, 5-6-36 Port. James from the half-back flank. There's a big pack of players he's looking at. Wanting the ball short was Mead. Kicks a high ball to the half-forward line. A lot of pushing and shoving, and that man is just too good. Koutafidis, he's just gliding around the ground at the moment. He's booted 3 goals. He's had 8 marks. He's had it 17 times as Franchina pumps the ball back. Good mark taken by Fletcher.
They just can't force the Blues to make an error, Port, at the moment. They can't put any pressure on them. Fletcher's kick to Lappin. Mead to get back at the back, but Port just can't create here. And Hickmott did very well. Good tackle though by Kane Corns for a ball up. The sting's gone out of the game, hasn't it? It really has.
They've just got a stranglehold on Port Adelaide's efficiency and use or lack of the ball. I mean, it's such a hard thing to change when you've just got a side who's basically got your hands around your neck and you just can't create anything. Just have to persevere. That's all Port Adelaide can do. Wait for it to turn. Try to make it turn.
Treadray's kick to Koutafidis. The obligatory change has been made. Hotton's come on for Porter. Christou. Mansell's had a very good match, as has just about every player for the Blues. Well done, Mead, against Whitnall. Their work rate, they've got to maintain it, Port. That's the big thing. They haven't worked hard enough in this quarter. Chad Corns tries a torpedo. It's a poor kick. Gave Primus no chance. Now Cockatoo Collins on the burst. Held on to it a long time. Wants Stevens. Good kick. Found him. First time they've looked good in this term. Stevens outside 50. Can he jag a goal from here? It's a good kick. It's coming back. It's a goal. What a goal. It is a goal, Cooter. It was a brilliant kick. Cooter took a clean mark. Well, with the emotion that Cooter's showing and the big play, that's a lot better to get a goal like that for Port than to scramble one through. It may give them some heart.
Well, it was also more likely to get a result with Chad Corns going for a long bomb, hitting to a contest with Primus Cockatoo Collins front and centre at the contest. Maybe they do have to play longer instead of playing that short chip pass, trying to work the ball back in the corridor. Look longer, set 2 or 3 tall targets forward of centre and just get your Primus to the contest. Stevens' beautiful goal from outside 50.
The Blues by 34 points.
Need to mount a challenge now, Port Adelaide, don't they? I mean, this is really... Any chance to get back in the game has to happen here.
Koutafidis thought he marked inside the line. I was looking through the glasses. It looked like the umpire made the correct decision to mine. Right on the goal line he was. He shook his head at Koutafidis and said, no, it was a goal. Ball up inside the centre square.
Official attendance given 35,805, their biggest this year, and I think their biggest since 1997 for a non-showdown match, so it's a great crowd.
6.5 minutes left in this third quarter. Primus just trying to rally the troops. Mansfield, new lease of life. Needs a kind bounce, he needs support. Great tackle by Cockatoo Collins. But Carlton have the numbers. Ratley, they can rattle it. Bingo, lucky number 31, it's Fletcher. The run will come from Franchina. Hickmott, too much carry on the ball. Primus puts the big frame on the line. He's got 3 to beat. That's been the story today for Carlton. 3 against 1, Lappin. Pumps the ball back. Whitnall couldn't take it. They can get a goal. Hotton. He's got it. You can't beat numbers at the ball.
Well, Roger James must have just felt that he had everything against him there. Why James was back onto Whitnall. We got a 5'8" player on a 6'4". But Kevin, you made the best comment that, I mean, Primus had the ball. He had 5 Carlton players going at him. I mean, that's Port Adelaide's midfield is just not working hard enough at the contest.
But you've got to question Darren Mead, though, Tony. I mean, he's standing Whitnall today, and how many times has Whitnall given him the slip?
Well, Mead followed Nelson up towards this wing area here. So I'm not sure, I mean, I'm not sure who was on Nelson. Just 3 players everywhere is the bottom line.
Well, Whitnall's Mead's man, and that's who's standing alongside of him right now. Primus. Gee, what a great goal by the Blues. You would think it could break Port's spirit. Franco to Francis, to Wanganeen. 50 out, gives it the lot. Puts it home, he's got 2. They keep coming. They're a long way back, but don't tell the crowd that. They reckon they've still got a chance. Mead's been dragged for Paxman.
Yep. Wanganeen significant, couple of important touches in the midfield. Mark Williams just looking for those dynamics, isn't he? He's looking for a different midfield mix.
Paxman on and Mead is off. Port trail by 34 points. Wanganeen in game number 200 has booted 2 goals. Primus has been very good in the ruck. He's rallying the troops, no doubt about that. Bradley pinched away that time. Wanganeen, James, they combine. Danger here. Treadway couldn't take it. Second grab. They'll pile on top. Mansfield, he might be pinged. Loose ball. The umpire was waiting and waiting. Nelson, the tackler. They've got it within 25 metres. Another goal will lift the spirits. Just under 5 minutes left in this third term.
Need to get 2 in a row. Can't remember the last time Port kicked 2 goals in a row today.
35 metres out from goal. Corns over the top. Beaumont just pushed off Stevens. Camporelli was too close. Couldn't get a sight of it.
Interesting Beaumont, Kevin, you mentioned earlier, 1 kick, 4 handballs today, but it's been played as a down back, hasn't he, rather than as the attacking centre-half back.
Good game for him. Different type of game.
He's been their star this year in defence. Now the run-up has been sent from the field.
Inside 50s for the quarter. Port Adelaide 6, Carlton 14.
Peter Dean, one of the former greats for Carlton.
Didn't he give a 50-metre penalty away this year as a runner?
He did too. I think from a kick-in that was. Primus getting his body on the ball. Carr, quick snap! Great kick! Porter back!
Primus set that goal up.
He's been magnificent this
He nearly
quarter.
cushioned the ball and just tapped it down to Carr, who was in and under, waiting for Primus, anticipating Primus to win the contest. That's a magnificent piece of play. That's Primus' strength. I mean, if he can control the rucks, Port Adelaide can get some momentum happening with their midfielders. That's 2 goals in a row.
Well, they've got 2 in a row. Significantly, it's Houghton against Primus. That Primus having a huge quarter, but when Houghton's with him, he's too big, too strong. So Porter sitting it out. Primus has been superb late here. 8-6, 12-10. It feels closer than 5 goals. It's still a big margin, but Port is coming back and they've managed to get 2 in a row.
It has been significant, Tony, that every time that Porter leaves the field, the size difference with Primus has been too much for Houghton.
Yep. Yeah, that's their chance to really dominate, isn't it? When Houghton comes on and Porter goes off, gives Primus such an advantage.
Remember that Matthew Allen will come back late in the year, you'd reckon, for the Blues. Here's Primus going to ground, 50-50. Paxman probably had to hang on to it. Coughed it up to Camporelli. This is the danger. Whitnell again on his own. He's Paxman's man. Paxman's screaming for someone to go to him, and he's got it again. Whitnell is just destroying Port Adelaide here. They just don't know where he is. And look at this. Bangs it to full forward. Lappin, no. It was a funny 50-50. Terrific tackle because Port were away. Fletcher from the pocket.
That was Franchina, the tackler, and Porter's come back onto the ground too, Bruce. The Blues have sensed that the big problem is at the centre bouncing around the ground, and Primus now is having too much of an influence.
Well, hasn't Whitnell exposed Port?
Well, they're between a rock and a hard place, aren't they? Paxman, Wakeland, Mead when he was on. Do we go and run off and try
danger,
and create?
danger. Well done, well done, McKay to Hickmont. Comes back. Lappin searching, goes for it and drills it home. That should be enough. Port Adelaide kick-ins today have been a huge problem from the very first one.
Well, have a look at this for a kick-in. Just too high. Great play by McKay there, Tony. Just read it well. He knew what was happening.
Well, a current AFL coach who will remain unnamed explained to me once that when your kick-outs aren't working, don't go short and inside. Go wide and long to the 45-metre mark, or go straight down the guts. Get numbers to the contest, get your centre-half back in your ruckman doing your work in the air, numbers below, and try and work the ball from there. Don't fiddle around in that dangerous area because it just doesn't work.
That goal has hurt Port Adelaide. Primus and Porter now back in the ruck for the Blues. Primus ties it up.
Kevin, the last Port's 2 in a row before the goal to Lappin was the only time today they've kicked consecutive goals in the match.
2's not enough, no, is it? Needs to be 3 or 4, a real run on.
2.5 minutes left in this third quarter. They trail by 35 points. Primus. It's been a man mountain this third term. Camporelli, all class, on the burst, in front, he's looking for Lappin. Corn's got his hands on the ball. Wakeland spent a lot of time on the bench. Carlton, desperation by Hickmott, tries to slap it out. Danger here for Port. Kutafides got his body on the line. Lappin just couldn't quite take it. Keeps the ball alive. No.
Just Kutafides speared into that dispute contest there. Schofield feeling it.
Danger time here for Port. Just 15 metres around from goals. Porter pushing and shoving. Hickmott with strength, had it and lost it. Polton at the bottom of the pack as well. Camporelli's lurking. Kutafides taken to ground. Led by 15 points at half-time, the Blues. They now lead by 35. This is a danger period. Hume. Chance for Franchino, was caught high. No free kick. Hickmott tied up and dumped that time by Stevens.
Primus,
and that's a ball up.
Primus has cramped it, I think, Kevin. He's in a bit of strife. Just to the right of the screen. He's picked himself up now. You can see him coming back. He doesn't look too good. They were quick to get Porter on when the Power made a move. Hook back, Kane Corns. He's held up pretty well in the heat of the contest. Whitnell has been outstanding today. Kick to Kuta. Wakeland. Kuta's marked it. It's a mark. He's not going to pay it, the umpire. It was a clean grab, I reckon.
Should have been a spoil from Wakeland.
Let's have a look. Gee, well, I'd pay it. Schofield. Port still striving. Carr, who's kicked a couple of goals. Bradley onto him in a hurry. Got him. Carr gets it back to Francis. Francis has worked pretty hard. We're inside the last minute. Carlton's the best last quarter team in the comp. They've kicked 51 goals for, 26 against. They've won 9 last quarters. Good luck, Port. You're 35 points behind. It's going to be a tough call. Primus, Franchina, Steinburner, pushing forward. Could Port conjure a goal late to give them some momentum? Freeborn dropped it. No free kick, they were lucky. Franco hurled up. No free kick. Franchina's been important. Bangs it back to half forward. Polton and Hickmott, boundary throwing. Most of the one-on-ones today, when you do the ledger at the end, you'll say Carlton have won them. Most of the matchups, Polton's tried hard, Hickmott's beaten him. Kuta's beaten all of them. Camporelli's been the best midfielder. Maybe Primus is one of the Port players you could say who's won his position. Here's Camporelli to Hume. Port, well, saved by the bell. Maybe. But Carlton have made the winning move, you'd reckon. They've turned on a great quarter of footy. They really have. So no score there. Lappin hit the post, but didn't count. It was after the break. Primus played his heart out, as he always does. But the Blues are a long way up. They've got a great last quarter record. And they look like they're winners. The mighty Silvani.
He's just mentally intimidated him today, Bruce. Not so much physically, but mentally, I'd say.
Start of the last quarter.
The ball hasn't held him.
So let's see if there's a kick left in Port. The Blues controlling the scoreboard now. Primus out of the centre, almost got a free kick. That's shades of last year, what he just did then. Treadray and Silvani. Christo works back, he's done well. Their whole defence has done well. They are ranked number 2 in the comp, and Manton found a very good searching mark. Comes wide to Porter. And that's a clever mark too, down low by the big man. Here's Whitnell at half-back. What an interesting game. How'd you like to plot him on a graph today, just where he's been? I mean, he has been everywhere today, Whitnell. Bradley turns 38 in October, was named in the Port Adelaide Magpies team of the century on a wing last Saturday night. Was in the Carlton team of the century. Won 3 best and fairest at Port Adelaide before he's won the 3 at Carlton. Runs a long way, kicks to centre half forward. Beaumont forward. Nick Stevens back. So all sorts of changes. Now Francis. Francis at half back. poor kick. Gave his forwards no chance at all, and Christou just picks it off.
Like his game today. Finds Porter. Nelson is on and Manton is off. Porter just belts the ball back. Cockatoo. Collins has to go hard, does it well. At half back. Short. Finds James. Just shares the ball back to Cockatoo. Collins. Wakeland has made ground. Good blocking also from Burgoyne. Wakeland. Too far out to score. Treadray is getting back. He's got Silvani to beat. Montgomery can't trap it.
Guys, just quickly after that change with Glenn Manton coming off, he sits alongside Fletcher, Wiggins and Houghton, so they've stayed with pretty much their same bench all game.
So a chance here for Port Adelaide, just 15 metres around from goal. Primus takes that front position, puts the big frame on the line. Camporelli reads it well. His partner in crime, old heads combined. Pulled to the ground. McKay couldn't get his kick away and he's been pinged. This could be just the start Port Adelaide need. And Josh Carr will have the kick directly in front.
He's had a quiet day, Carr, lining up for his third goal. Started off on Ratton. He's pushed him forward to try and kick a goal. He can kick a goal.
Kick a goal in the first quarter, one in the third. He doesn't like it.
The mock is on him, Kevin.
It's always a telltale sign when they start to lean at a 45-degree angle.
Well, a big chance missed. It was a great tackle, but unable to convert. Beaumont, seen so little of him today. He's been playing a real tagging role. Should get a free kick. Wanganeen hanging on. And the free kick is for a throw, so Port getting a break here, I reckon. Bradley taking a long time, gives it to Wanganeen. Wanganeen goes short to Treadray. Treadray's little give. Schofield in the pocket. Left foot. Just blazing. Port getting a bit of it here.
I've been critical of Warren Treadray's game. He has had a quiet game, but his midfielders haven't helped him, have they? I mean, some of the use of the ball going forward has been so difficult, and that was a perfect example.
Good kick in, good spot up to Beaumont from Christou. The delivery to Treadray's been poor. Strong Mark Whitnell.
Conversely, the use of the ball to Koutafidis and Whitnell when Carlton go forward has been pretty well spot on all day.
He's a remarkable talent, Whitnell. He's 21, he's played over 100 games. This is his 90th consecutive match. A lot that's been talked about his lack of fitness, etc., but he's played 90 consecutive matches. He's a great goal scorer and he's a wonderful football, has a wonderful football brain, and today he's played a beauty.
He's covered some territory today too, Bruce.
Holding the ball against the Blues. So Plunkett, who had a terrific first 2.5 quarters. So Port just getting a sniff of it here. They can't do anything with it though. Francis, their disposal's been poor. The kick to Mead. It's been taken to places today by Whitnell that I think he's never been to before, Meady. He's now got the job again. Paxman had it for 5 minutes in the third quarter. Carlton flooding completely. What a difference when the two teams go forward. Treadray, could he take a mark? Nearly, but it was a hard one with Beaumont against him and also Christou and Silvani. And that's been part of Treadray's problem today. He's the odds have been against him. There's Ackland, Kingsley, Paxman's there, and Chad Corns, who looks miserable. So just inside 50. Carr over the top. Ball loose. Hume's done a wonderful job on Nick Stevens. Quick hands by Mansfield, but not good hands. Montgomery and Silvani. Silvani, Montgomery. Port look for another free kick. Ball up. It's done well, Silvani.
Wasn't that fantastic?
Desperate play, wasn't it?
I mean, he was under the pump there. He was clearly not going to be first player at the ball. Just launched himself, threw himself at the ball. Just brilliant defensive play, but just desperate play.
Primus. It's been a great season. He's been a star since half-time. McKay from half-back. Rarely beaten. Bangs the ball back. Whitnell. Hickmott combines with Lappin. Backtracks, conceded ground. Finds Nelson. Into the centre square. Now the run will come from Freeborn. They run hard, the Blues. Port Adelaide's been far too slow in moving the ball forward today. You've got to take them on. You've got to run with the ball and bounce it. Well, you overcome flooding, you've got to move the ball quickly into the forward line. Once you want to kick over the man in the mark, you're in a lot of trouble.
That was very intelligent play by Lappin to go backwards in, because they'd flooded so far forward there was no one in the goal square.
Primus getting back. Got his hands on the ball, couldn't take the grab. Bit slow to get up off the ground. So a big chance for the Blues. Porter versus Primus. Stevens finds the run of Cockatoo Collins. No need to bounce the ball. He can run 15 metres. He kicks a poor one. He'll set it up to Ange Christou. 3 Carlton players against 1 Port Adelaide player. That's been the story. Camporelli loves to set it up as the playmaker. Whitnell. No free kick. Wakeland. Cross half back to James. You'll find Steinburner. Got no player back. They've got to run with the ball to Treadray. On centre wing to centre half forward. Wanganeen in front. Those long arms on the stretch. Couldn't take it. Mansfield. Great smother by Wanganeen. But no support. Freeborn on the charge. Koutafidis. Too much carry on the ball. Look at Primus. Absolutely working overtime for Port Adelaide. Sets it up to Fabian Francis. He's got 2 to beat. Couldn't take it was James. Back to Primus. Now it opens up. Jew. Will he unload a big bomb? Drills the ball down. He's looking for Wanganeen. The long arm. It came from Beaumont. Wanganeen. 3 against 1. Plunkett. It's been a big game in his career today. Tumbles the ball back towards the half-back. Hickmott with strength. Just a roll of the shoulders and a run from Mansfield. Bangs it back to the half-forward line. Whitnell goes bang. Crunch. He's given away the free kick. Went straight at the man. And Port Adelaide will take it. Wakeland.
Gee, Kuta was away too, wasn't he? Yeah, good call, Kevin. Primus having a huge second half. Treadray starting to get involved. Port trying to make a move, aren't they? They're working hard. Their intensity's there. They haven't given up, but they just can't find a way home. And again, they can't. It was a dreadful option by Primus. Or Treadray, I should say. It was an awful option to Carr, outnumbered. Christou's got it. Short to Bradley, having a good game. I agree with you with Plunkett. I think it's the most important game of his career today. Gee, Bradley. How old were you when you retired, Kevin?
Nearly 37.
Nearly 37. Well, we've only had one 38-year-old play in the last 80 years, and that's Michael Tuck. We've had 8 all up. Tucky's the only one in the last 80 years, and if he plays next year, Bradley will join him, and why shouldn't he? Porter's kick. Hume. Well done, Stevens. To Mead. Not giving up Port, but they just can't find a way. Carlton so well drilled here. He's got to go over the top, James. They've got to run it here. Schofield, take it on. He's got Burgoyne. Goes over the top. Has to take a chance. In the pocket. Hooks it. Treadray must mark it. He does. Better. Much better. At long last, they were able to split Carlton's defence open. Well, he's got to kick this. Carlton are seemingly home on the board. There's such a big difference, but they've worked so hard. They deserve a goal.
Carlton have dominated the game on the ground so much, you would have thought the scoreboard would have been a lot greater difference than it actually is.
Treadray, point blank range, coming back. He's goal. There's still a bit of hope there. If you were the referee right now, and this was a heavyweight title fight, I reckon you'd let it go on. I don't reckon you'd say it's all over just yet.
Inside 50s for the quarter, Port Adelaide 8, Carlton 3. So that's reflective of the work rate that Port Adelaide have undertaken for the quarter. They've obviously got the word at three-quarter time, and they are persevering and giving themselves a rough outside chance.
That man on screen has kicked his first goal. Port Adelaide have dragged it back to a 27-point ball game. They've trailed by as much as 40 points in that third term. There's still plenty of time, just under 11 minutes left. Primus. Schofield to Mead. Couldn't take control. Plunkett kicks the ball down, a loose player. Too easy for Hickmott. Drops a sitter. Stevens was pulled off the ball. Bradley, those quick hands. Plunkett is caught. So a bit of desperation now for Port. Advantage is paid. Carlton comes away with the ball to Schofield. A bit more run now. Poor kick and hits a target. Well, it was meant for Treadray. James has got it. This is where they've got to move the ball a lot quicker. Tumbles the ball into the forward line. Treadray again got his hands on the ball. Should have taken the mark. Beaumont. Poor kick. Schofield. This can hurt the Blues. Stands and delivers. It's a big kick to the square. Burgoyne over the top with Wanganeen. Forces it through for a behind.
Coming home here, Port. Just a couple of errors by the Blues. Plunkett just held onto it too long. This is where Carlton, look at the difference in the kick-outs today. They've been able to create that loose man. Whitnell again to Plunkett. And again, they've been able to get the ball down there. Ratton's on his own at centre-half forward. Cockatoo Collins, last man steady. Brilliant play, Hickmont. Absolutely wonderful because he's created Ratton with a chance. Cockatoo Collins got back well. Boundary throw in. Look at the difference. One end to the other in 20 seconds.
What brilliant play by Hickmott.
Yep.
Just eyes for the football.
There's
Couldn't see anything else.
There's the I-7 promo there. So forward pocket for the Blues. They're one goal away from completely finishing the match, you reckon. The referee would count Port out if they kick one more. Francis, Mead, Hickmont, Fletcher cleverly. Tap on was good. McKay handballs towards the pocket. Boundary throw in.
That initial piece of play there, Bruce, before the ball went out of play, was just reflective of the whole day. It was still a 3-on-2 contest Carlton's way. I mean, in the dispute contest, they've just always had that extra number. In fact, quite often more than that one extra number at the contest, which just gives them such an advantage.
This is the best I've seen the Blues this year. Hard at the ball, Ratton. Taken by Cockatoo Collins. They were great against the Bombers in that big upset win. They've been magnificent today, putting pressure on Port Adelaide. Danger, Wiggins. Closed quickly. Taken by Polton from half back. Corns is the target. You've got to shove out from Nelson. Kane Corns will take the free kick. 14 possessions of Kane Corns today. Young man still making his way in the game.
Pushed him to a half-forward flank, Kane. Gives us some
Throws the arms
versatility.
in the air. No option, and that's a silly kick. Short to a contest. We'll learn from that.
That's what happens, Kevin, when the confidence goes down and your big, tall players up forward aren't dominating. You try and create something, go short to a 50-50 contest.
Well, you might as well go long
Yep.
to a 50-50 contest. Primus just with that bulk. McKay with strength to Lappin. Danger here, Fletcher. Front edge of the centre square. Houghton. Couldn't quite take it off the hands. They'll pile on top.
Kevin, Hickmont went off and Houghton went on to create a mismatch with Cockatoo Collins. So Cockatoo Collins is now on Houghton.
So the Blues 35 metres out from goal. Great tap. Hume should kick a goal and bangs it through. Well, that young man's had a big game today. He's put one of the gun players out of action in Stevens. He's had it 18 times himself. And Nick Stevens has had it 12 times, one of their gun midfield players, so he's done it well, Tony.
He's one of those players, Kevin, that was the hunters rather than the hunted in the Carlton midfield all day. Really just working their opponent over time.
So the Blues are home now. They've really worked Port over, haven't they, today? Worked them out and then worked them over. But to Port's credit, they haven't given it away. They're trying their absolute hardest in this last quarter. They dropped off in the third quarter at the start. And when you reflect back to that burst that Carlton had early in the second half, it was so decisive. And again, 2-on-1 in that contest.
It's good play by Kane Corns. I mean, he was under the pump there. Two Carlton players around the football, forced the ball out of play. Good play by the young fella.
Youngest player out there today, Wiggins, the other 18-year-old, turns 19 this year. Paxman hooks back. It'll be play on. Corns and Nelson keep their eye on it. Paxman did well. Kicked a super goal today after a courageous mark. Schofield to Jew, must goal, and he hooks it and misses it.
He just rushed it.
Bread and butter for Jew when he's on song, isn't it?
Just one step though, he just rushed it.
He's at the crossroads of this year, Jew. He would have been in the All-Australian team after the first 6 rounds. And right now, he's finding it hard to get the footy. Ackland comes on for Primus, who gets a great hand. Done a terrific job. And again, Carlton able just to get an easy kick in. But Jew today, just the 5 kicks. He's just got to get hold of the footy a bit more. Whitnell. Meady's had a tough day on Whitnell.
Well, he's had 8 marks. He puts that big frame on the line. He's very tough to get around. 14-11-95 the Blues. 9-10-64 Port. They trail by 31 points. Just under 7 minutes left in this last quarter. Plunkett. Good enough to get the handball away to Fletcher. Bradley, the playmaker, sets it up. Franchina, edge of the centre square, goes wide. Was looking for Ratton. Chipping in was Carlton. Carr on the break. You'll find Montgomery. Treadray wants it short. The kick's a poor one, just wobbles it inside 50. Wanganeen was bundled off the ball. Nelson, keen to impress. He spent a lot of time on the interchange bench. Now there's 2 old heads. Make that 3. Silvani, Bradley, McKay. What a player McKay's been, the All-Australian. 7 marks today, 17 possessions. And this man is getting back to his best.
He's had a big game, Kevin. Christou, very impressive game.
Just a penetrating kick. And a one-hander to Whitnell. Bradley sets it up. Port Adelaide, slow to react. Plunkett's going to kick a goal. Runs inside 50 and closing. Koutafidis will get back. Can't take it. And the young man is pretty disappointed. There was an opportunity that was missed.
Just Port have been caught flat-footed so often today. You almost feel as if they've needed to have a loose man back to sort of sweep because they've been exposed due to himself. This will improve his stats by 1 by getting that kick. They count them when they kick them to themselves. Freeborn. I'm not suggesting that's why he did it. It was a good play in the end. Mead brought down, pushed into the back, maybe. Bradley's been terrific. Nelson spinning out of a tackle, well done. McKay, symbolic of the way he plays his footy. To Hume, wonderful stuff. To Nelson. Nelson's kicked the centre half forward. Ratton waiting. Carr did well, front spot. Little fella took a big mark. Cockatoo Collins. Kicked it in a hurry. Whitnell's pretty tired. Paxman's going up and down in the one spot. Whitnell belts to the line, boundary throw.
Never conceded, did he? He's just a real workhorse. I mean, he's worked so hard all day, covered many, many kilometres, come from the other side wing.
He just took that great mark on the other side of the ground. Now contesting on the broadcasting side.
Camporelli, arguably the best man on the ground in the first half, but probably tired a bit.
He had a big first half, though. When the game was there to win, Bruce, Camporelli was undoubtedly the hardest working, effective midfielder on the ground.
You've got to have your best players playing well. Camporelli, Koutafidis and Whitnell have all been good players today.
And what a job, Silvani. They couldn't win for him last week on his 300th, but they're going to spoil Wanganeen's party today.
Whitnell getting his hands on the ball first. Josh Carr working hard in this last quarter. Mead, Cockatoo Collins winning more of the ball in defence. It's a wobbly old kick. And Nelson, well, the young man from Sturt hasn't really quite got a spot in the senior lineup, trying to impress. Ratton, second grab. Been a bit quieter in the second half. Koutafidis forced under the ball. Josh Franco, hands and knees to Corns, to Jew. So the run comes from Fabian Francis. Jew's going to be caught, run down. This is where Carlton's been magnificent today. They keep on running hard and chasing. Big bomb, Wanganeen with the flight's got it. And that's one of the rare occasions where Port Adelaide have kicked the ball quickly with some run from half back and kicked into an open forward line.
But what it resulted in, Kevin, was some space up there, wasn't it? They just haven't been able to move the ball quick enough to get it to their forwards in space.
And the few times Jew's had the footy today at half back, he's gone short. in the end, because of the handball reaction, he was able to kick the ball long. That's his value.
Wanganeen has booted 2 goals in game number 200. Make that 3. I get surprised sometimes, Tony, when someone like Stewie Jew, who's a magnificent kick. It's a great attribute to have when you kick the ball as long as what he can so quickly through the air, that sometimes they want to finesse with the ball a lot instead of utilising what they're really good at, which hurts the opposition. That's getting the ball covering about 65 to 70 metres quickly.
Yeah, his confidence is down. When he gets tagged out of a game early, he reverts that shorter play rather than his strength of kicking long.
So late in this final term, Carlton home, Wanganeen with 3. He's done a good job. He missed a couple early. Bradley's been terrific. Kicks to half forward. Cockatoo Collins have got plenty of it down back in this last quarter. It's the first game he'll play this year where he hasn't kicked a goal. Wiggins to Lappin, takes them on, squeezes to the pocket. Oh, not a bad effort. Ball rolls over. So the bottom result is that Port would have lost 3 of their last 5 and 2 of their last 3 at home, and they do come right back to the field. In terms of, they'll be in the crush of the 8 now, not up in the elite group. Their position will still probably be 3rd with percentage. Be close between them and the Blues. But they go to Manuka next week, and Carlton have got the Bulldogs at Optus. A couple of really good matches. Manuka against the Kangaroos for Port.
We've got some travelling coming up, Port Adelaide.
They play Fremantle the week after. They've stuck to their guns, Port. It's been a good last quarter by them, but Carlton have had the edge all day. They've looked the better team from pretty early on. Hickmont's done well. He kicked the first goal of the game.
I think the positive thing, Bruce, from Port Adelaide's point of view is tactically, in an accountable game as it's been today, they've been beaten badly, but they haven't been beaten badly on the scoreboard. I mean, you got the feeling at varying stages throughout the game it was going to be a blowout. Well, that hasn't happened either because Carlton couldn't affect the final knockout blow, or because Port Adelaide have got an ability to hang in there. So maybe in the bigger picture, later in the season as we head towards September, this type of loss might be something they need to have. I mean, they've been highly efficient for the first half of the year.
Well, Terry Wallace made the point at half-time that they're having a lot more attention paid to them, a lot more matchups, and a lot of their stars early in the year are gaining a lot of attention from the opposition.
Hickmott's off with the blood rule for the Blues. Montgomery thumps the ball down. Fletcher lost his footing. Lappin, those clean hands thrown back over the line by Stevens. Boundary throw in. Still 35 metres around from Carlton's goal. Houghton to do the ruck work. Great tap, Koutafidis. Quick snap. He's off target and through for behind. Actually, Houghton's done very well in a couple of boundary throw-ins. They got that goal through Hume when he really got his hands on the ball. It was a good tap by Houghton, so he's been able to conjure up a couple of scores for the Blues. But he's found Primus far too big when he's had to match him around the ground. Mansfield! Well, there's still a bit of life in the old legs yet. Just landed very heavily on his back, so it's knocked the stuffing out of him a bit.
He's not in a hurry to take that kick, Kevin.
5 marks and 13 possessions today to Michael Mansfield.
Done a good job on Jew. Had an excellent game.
This is a very tough kick. You would think.
Porter and Koutafidis in the goal square. It's probably where it will go if he can't find something short.
So Mansfield from 55 metres out. It's a centering kick. He's got to give Kouta the run at it. He's got it. That was a great kick. He put it out in front so that Koutafidis could run at the ball.
Just laid it up, didn't he? Like a pitching wedge. Just laid it up to the top of the goal square. He would have seen that they had a height advantage. Koutafidis just lurking behind the pack. Porter took front spot. And in the end, either of the big Carlton men could have taken the mark. Koutafidis lining up for his 4th goal. He's had 6 scoring shots.
And Rams at home. He's kicked a goal in every quarter now, Koutafidis. He's taken 10 marks and he's had it 21 times.
Dangerous player, isn't he? He's just brilliant. Strong, can take a mark inside 50, can kick a goal. Also works hard.
I'm not saying they would have beaten Essendon last year, but any chance Carlton had of going top was ruined when Koutafidis was injured in round 20. That was the difference. Poured out of the centre. You reckon if Kouta can have a super second half of the year, Carlton can really challenge here. He's their herd, and the Kangaroos Carey when Carey's at his top and fit. He just makes such a difference.
He looks like he could have that type of half of the season, Bruce. I mean, he can turn it on and turn it off when he needs to.
Well, remember too, he's coming back from a big injury last year. It took him a long time to get that knee right.
I still don't think we've seen the best of him so far this year, Bruce. He's played a great game today, and I've seen him a couple of times this year. But you get the feeling, looking at Koutafidis, that there's still plenty left in the tank.
There's another gear to go up, and if he can produce it on the right day, Carlton will beat anybody. Camporelli to Plunkett. It's been a terrific performance by the Blues. Wobbly kick. Speaking of the devil, the Greek god, he deserves 5. Siren's about to sound. Who better to have the footy at the end of all of this? Koutafidis going for a 5th. Just missing it away. And the Blues have done the big trick, coming to Adelaide in the big match and beating Port Adelaide. Terrific effort. Bruce Lindner.
Well, Scotty, Bruce was just saying you've come to Adelaide for the big match. Was that the feeling throughout the players throughout the week?
Yeah, it was. It's been the last couple of weeks. We were pretty disappointed after the Richmond game, and Port lost as well. So it was a crucial game for both sides. For the second part of the year to get on a roll.
A magnificent performance by yourself, over 25 possessions, but importantly in the first half when it was real crunch time.
Yeah, I enjoy playing here. I played a couple of games down here every time, so I love coming home and playing footy park. But more importantly, it was a great win for us today. Everyone did their bit today.
And it was the old heads of Carlton too. Yourself. Sorry about that. Koutafidis, Bradley, and Silvani did a magnificent job.
Yeah, that's true, but you got to take a bit of credit to Darren Hume, who I thought was fantastic today, and Nick Stevens, and those sort of guys are the ones that step up for us each week, and that's where we're going to get our improvement from.
Well, it was a finals type match, and you certainly performed well. Well done. Go back and enjoy yourself. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Bruce. Thanks to you and Scott Camporelli. Darren Hume, he mentioned there, one of the unsung heroes. It was a fabulous performance by Carlton today. It really was. They've stood up tall. They look a big challenger to the Bombers. Port will have to regroup.